3 minutes. Two minutes. One minute. The Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, welcome to the program. It is August the 8th and you're with the Editor-in-Chief live with Lester's Oil, your multi-ingredient omega-3 healthy aging supplement backed by thousands of satisfied customers. Get the benefits, of course, of 6 supplements in one capsule to support joint, heart and brain health. Take as directed. Read the label. About Health Auckland. Hi folks, I'm Duncan, Garner. Today, the life-ending impacts of influenza A. Now this has ripped a family apart forever. Mum of 2, nurse Maria Packe, died 2 weeks ago from this disease. Now her husband, John, is fighting for his life in hospital. And they have 2 boys, Sam and Jed, and they are desperate, of course, for their dad to pull through. We will cross to the family for an update on how we can all help this family. Top sports broadcaster Martin Denvir is with us. We're talking All Blacks, ahead of this weekend's clash. Be good to have him in here. And the Golden Night in Paris. Is Lisa Carrington our greatest ever Olympian? I want your feedback on this. I'm Duncan, Garner. Jump on the YouTube, TikTok, leave us a comment. It's all there. All the available details are there. It is news time, and here's MediaWorks Deputy News Editor. It is Casual Friday. It is Grace Cocker.
A stunning performance from Elise Andrews as she claimed gold in the women's keirin at the Olympic Velodrome this morning. She proved far too good for her rivals in the final on Sky Sport, but couldn't get her head around her new status of world and Olympic champion.
I tend to take a while to let things soak in, so right now it's just surreal.
It's the second gold medal in 6 hours for New Zealand, with the women's K4 kayak crew also topping the podium. And the mixed NACRA sailing crew has also won bronze. Meanwhile, Lydia Ko rediscovered some form, moving to outright third at 5 under par after 2 rounds in the golf. She's just 3 shots off the lead. To news, the massive fine handed down to Foodstuffs North Island is being described as unprecedented. The High Court penalised the supermarket giant $3.25 million for anti-competitive behaviour. Consumer NZ's John Duffy says it's good to see. penalty.
It's a promising sign that in future we can see similar levels of penalties levied against supermarkets to deter this type of conduct.
Turning out to be a deadly year on the water, with 7 recreational boating deaths in the last 7 weeks. Maritime NZ's Matt Wood says it's the worst winter he's seen in a decade.
Last year there were 12, and provisionally so far we're aware of 12 incidents that have occurred.
Repairs are being undertaken on the Aratiri ferry after it hit a ramp while berthing in Wellington. There was damage to the link span and to the hull of the boat itself. The same ferry ran aground in June just outside of Picton. Donald Trump has confirmed he will debate Kamala Harris. The Republican nominee has held a press conference and says his Democratic rival is running scared.
They may or may not agree. I don't know if they're going to agree. She hasn't done an interview. She can't do an interview. She's barely competent.
And some scary details are emerging about a Taylor Swift terror plot in Vienna. CNN's Nick Patton-Walsh says the 19-year-old accused intended to harm those outside the venue.
They found at his home chemical precursors for bombs, knives, detonators, and also, troublingly, a blue police flashing light that they believe he might put on a vehicle in a bid to get himself into that crowd.
And that's your news and sport.
Thank you, Grace. Lisa Carrington. 6
beast.
golds and a bronze, and going for a 7th.
Like a phenomenal human being athlete.
Yeah, so-
Superwoman, Hulk,
Isn't
whatever
she?
you can call her. She's
I
just
saw
phenomenal.
her at a Warriors game, and I couldn't believe she is just a pocket
I
rocket,
did
you know?
see her at the gym once and I was flabbergasted. I honestly was struggling with my little weights. I looked over and my mouth was open, trying not to stare,
Yeah.
but her muscles are incredible and she's such a phenomenal athlete and she seems like the nicest person.
Seems to be, yeah.
Like I'd love to go have a beer with her.
Yeah, she may not be on the beers at the moment, though, of course.
Oh, no.
Go for the
not
7th
at the
gold.
moment.
Six golds. I mean, is there a better Olympian? I ask you this question. You tell me, is there a better Olympian?
I can't think of one.
Yeah.
Well, for my generation anyway.
Jump on the TikTok, YouTube. You tell me if there's a better one. A more successful one than Lisa Carrington. Is she our greatest
I couldn't
Olympian?
do what she does.
No.
Like,
No.
oof.
Funny that, isn't it?
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, you've probably heard of this tragic story of the Wellington nurse who died from the flu. Maria Leonard Packe left 2 kids and a husband behind, but now he's in hospital, the husband fighting the same strain of influenza. His name's John. He's been in ICU and just yesterday had a procedure to fix a hole in his lung caused by this infection. We'll find out how that went shortly. It's just unimaginable, isn't it, how hard it must be for their boys, Jed and Sam. They've already lost their mum, and now this. They just want their dad to pull through. Their family spokesperson, Darrell Packe, joins us now from Wellington to update us how John is and how Kiwis can help this family in their time of need. And boy, nice to have you on, Darrell. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Duncan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all our sympathies and thoughts are with you. I've followed this last couple of weeks, and I'm really sorry what's going on with you. But can you give us an update?
We're not sure how that procedure went, so I can't really comment on that. The update is that he's critically ill and stable. Is about the best we can give, really.
How are the boys?
The boys are coping really well. A mix of humour and tears, really. The humour helps and the tears help. So we're letting them ebb and flow. And when we talk to the doctor, and the doctors and nurses have been great with updates, they're on speakerphone so they can hear everything that's going on. So just helps their journey, I think, to understand what's happening, Duncan.
Yeah, and how old are the boys? They're, 13, 15, 13, 14?
15. So Jed's 15 and Sam's 14.
Right. God, it's a tough age. It's a tough age at any time. Take us back a couple of weeks. So what was the first sign that things went right?
Well, Maria had presented with symptoms of the flu, so she'd been and got checked out and been discharged and went home. The next day, which was Sunday, she deteriorated quite quickly in John's arms on the couch and fell to the ground basically and stopped breathing. And the emergency services were called and they worked on her for almost an hour and managed to get a pulse and get life back and popped her in the ambulance to the hospital, and she didn't survive, Duncan, as we know.
Boy, I mean, it just happened so quickly. And this is, and what do they say? It's influenza A, do they?
Yeah. We have the preliminary coroner's letter, but that doesn't say a lot. So, unfortunately, Duncan, we're all a bit in the dark and a bit shocked, really.
Oh no, I bet you are, and you need all the support you can get, and you know we're so sorry what's happened, because it's just so dramatic, it's so quick, it's so It just happened on the spot. This is a real warning to other New Zealanders listening and watching this to what can you do? I mean, you did the right thing. She went to the doctor.
Yeah, she went to the doctor twice.
Twice?
Twice. And the same thing, I think, with John, was that he deteriorated quite fast as well, Duncan. So basically, we got here on the Tuesday to be supporting him with Maria passing, and by Thursday morning, his son called me because we were staying away from the house because my mother was with us. She's 78. We didn't think it was a good idea that she caught the influenza A, so we stayed remotely. And his youngest son called me in the morning, Thursday morning, and said, look, we need to do something with Dad. He's not good. So the neighbours, who are medical professionals, quickly rushed up, popped him in the car and rushed him down to the Hutt Hospital, and the rest is, as we know, he's been in ICU ever since.
Yeah, and so the boys, they're in Wellington with you. Are they able to get to Auckland? Are they allowed to go to Auckland? Or what's the story?
Yeah, we've been to Auckland.
Right.
It's tough, Duncan, sitting at the ICU when someone's on critical care. You don't feel like there's a lot you can do. So we brought the boys back to Wellington so they could get back to school and their mates, and then we're going to go back to Auckland potentially this weekend again, just to see John.
They sound remarkably resilient. I mean, what's strong? I mean, just from listening to you here, Darrell, what strong boys, amazing, and your support's amazing for them, obviously. But they just seem, back to school, as you say. They've got to keep forging ahead to keep their lives going, don't they? But their dad is sort of hanging by a thread. Yeah,
I know. It's I don't think the whole thing has unraveled so quickly that I think we're all in a bit of shock, Duncan. So
yeah.
It hasn't set in, you know what I mean? I think it will soon, but at the moment we're busy with supporting John any way we can and the boys. So that's our priority, and that's how we're coping, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they're up this weekend and they need somewhere to stay, I'm happy to open my house to your family.
Nice.
Yeah, so that offer is genuine and open for you.
There's about 20 of us, mate.
Yeah, well, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. The doors are open. No, I'm serious.
For what you wish for.
Yeah, okay. Do you have a Give a Little page that's been set up to help, with all the costs and everything that are associated with getting up and down and everything. Can you give us that tell us how that's going?
Yeah, that's got. So I just checked it before we went online, and it's almost at $66,000. And the title is Tough Times, and these are that. So, yeah, if people want to donate, it's been fantastic, Duncan, because we've had donations from anything from $1 to, thousands of dollars, and it's just special. The boys follow the Give a Little, and they read the comments, they watch what they're just blown away by the amount of public support through this for them.
Oh, it's just tragic, but it's times like this when you find some strength and get together. So we appreciate, Darrell, you coming on the program today. Send our love and support to the boys, and the offer's there, and I hope you do okay.
Yeah, thanks, Duncan.
Okay,
thank you.
Take care and good luck.
Duncan Garner live.
That Give a Little page, givealittle.co.nz/cause/tough. Times/photos. So you can jump on there and it's just a tragic case. Right, this has snuck up on all of us, hasn't it? The All Blacks are back in action in the capital this weekend against the Argies. Artie's in charge, Scott Barrett's out, Enrico Ioane's on the bench. The country's top sports broadcaster is Martin Denvir, and he's with us. Marty, nice to see you, mate. Welcome.
Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you, Duncan. Look, I suppose this is what sport does, doesn't it? It's meant to take your mind off all the other awful stuff that happens
grim,
in life.
That's grim.
So, yeah, I mean, heart goes out to that family. Just before we do the All Blacks, I was here listening to you before, and you raised the question about Lisa Carrington, 6 gold medals now, going for a 7th, and where does she sit in terms of our greatest ever Olympic athletes? Just quickly, look, it's never apples with apples, is it? I've got a list of those that have won more than 1 gold medal for New Zealand, and when you just say that out loud for a start, Mackenferg, Valerie Adams, Peter Snell, Daniel Noda, Mark Todd, McMurray Bond, Drysdale. I'm sure I've missed some rowing crews in there. So I suppose
Swindales, there we go.
There you go. You'd have to put all of these in a big pizza and then go, which piece do I want? It's just remarkable.
It's almost too hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah, and what events compare to what events in terms of how many athletes actually compete in those events and from all around the world. I mean, all you can do to me is just doff your cap and go, we've got 13 medals at the moment. Yeah. I mean, celebrate New Zealand.
Is that good?
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. I think, what are we, 12th or 13th on the table? There are only 5.5 million of us.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, every now and again, it's actually, instead of looking so introspectively, it's so good to just to look and go, wow, celebrate
Be
this.
positive, this is great.
Celebrate this.
And as you say, yes, we're 5.5 million, but we're also further away from the market than anyone else. So it's tough to find competition for us.
Well, especially in some of these sports, the resources you're competing against, the amount of other athletes you're competing against, not to mention whatever they're taking, and is it a level playing field and all of that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. But I read the Herald recently, and they had the top list of 25 top Olympic athletes over time. They didn't have Carrington in there. Now, I think that's an oversight. Top 25.
Well, she's got 6 gold medals. She probably doesn't need to be in a Herald list, to be perfectly honest.
There we go. Like that. Okay, All Blacks. So the All Blacks are back.
Yeah, and again, as you said, it's kind of slipped under the radar, isn't it? I mean, look, the Warriors will be very, very pleased this week because they've got a smokescreen called the Olympics. They've got a smokescreen called the All Blacks. They've got a smokescreen called Sean Johnson retiring, and so nobody's putting the heat on their poor performance on the weekend in a failed season. But look,
Another failed season, though, isn't it?
Of course it's a failed season, Duncan. The only thing that you measure is wins, and they've got 8 out of 20.
Yeah.
Full stop at the end of that sentence, okay? That's the end of it.
And they've had full stadiums and lots of jerseys sold.
Well, that's all great, isn't it? But ultimately, what are they, a marketing company or are they a professional rugby league side?
Somewhere in between.
Let's talk about the All Blacks, and I applaud Scott Robertson and the selectors for what they've done, because as All Black selectors, they are inherently conservative. That's what we know, okay? And changing a team at any time is a difficult thing for any All Black selector, especially when that team has won.
Yes.
Now, forget the Fiji game, because no disrespect to them, but that was effectively a training exercise. Let's go back to the 2 tests against England. I gave us a C+ in the first one and a B- in the second. We were good, but we're not really All Black standard, or the standard that we want to get to. So what does Scott Robertson do? Does he give those guys another chance? No. What he's done is he's turned around and he said to Rieko Ioane, who, to be honest, and I'm not, nothing personal against the guy, but you've played 30 tests at centre, mate. And, you tell me 1 or 2 of those where, he's stood out and been the best centre in the world.
I can't name one.
He was a brilliant winger. Remember, he debuted in 2017. That's 8 years he's been in the All Blacks. He moved into centre. We've all wanted him to do what Tana Umanga did, who came off the wing and went into centre. But centre is a really selfless position. What your job is, Joe Stanley, Bruce Robertson, Conrad Smith, is to make those around you better.
Yeah.
And I think Rieko as a player is way too blinkered. He's got to learn that as much as he makes a break, as much as he charges into the opposition, he's got to create opportunities for those
wingers
outside him.
Yep. And Conrad Smith was brilliant at that.
Well, exactly. I mean, I kind of wonder whether Connie could perhaps go flatting with him for a month or so and sort of pass on some of that knowledge.
Roommate.
So what they've done is they've said to Rieko, quite clearly, your performance isn't up to scratch at the moment. We need you to be better. So you're on the bench, and they've given the chance to ALB. Now, if I've got a criticism of Anton, it's the same. He's played 70 tests for the All Blacks. You tell me 5 where you've thought, my God, that guy is an absolutely brilliant player.
Okay, I'll tell you one. Against Ireland when he came on as from the bench.
Bang.
Monstered it.
Against Australia during COVID at Eden Park.
Monstered it.
But that's out of 70, Duncan.
Yeah, but why hasn't he been able to nail down a starting position? I think it's an oversight from selectors over time that they've seen him as a utility and not someone that can nail a position. I think he's a brilliant player.
Look, in 2019, he was second 5, and outside him was Goodhue at centre, and then we were told afterwards they got that wrong, and then they swapped him around. So, again, he's got another opportunity here. I would have liked to have seen Proctor there, given his performance
He's not
against
on the
Fiji.
bench. Not even on the bench.
But Anton's got that opportunity now, and he's got a Caesar, and if he does, he will play against South Africa. The other one is Samapeni, who was an absolute beast in Super Rugby. Remember, he was the smackdown guy, right? He's not in the squad altogether 23 because he was absent without leave against England.
Yeah.
Again, nothing personal, but you've got to criticise the actual performance. Now, when it comes to number 6, here's the stat. Since Jerome retired, we've had 16 guys try their luck at number 6. Okay, number 17 was Samapeni. Number 18 is now Ethan Blackadder.
Yeah.
So, this is a really crucial position for the All Blacks to lock down that blind side. I think with Blackadder that they have always loved him as a player, but it's just whether he can stay fully fit.
And whether he's a 6 or 7, whether they put him at 8, whether they put him, he's a bit of he floats a bit in that.
Well, again, but you need aerial power now as far as international rugby goes.
Yeah.
There's lineouts, there's kickoffs, there's box kicks, and he provides that extra height. He's got a bit of mongrel about him. And again, an absolute...
And he's a favourite of Robertson. He's a favourite.
Yes, he is.
You can see
if
that.
he can stay fully fit. And if he can, I think he's got a chance to really lock down that. Look, Argentina, I think, are the perfect opposition right now. We played England in 2, we played Fiji. We've got Africa next. And so if you look at it as a Bell learning curve, these two tests are perfect preparation. If we were playing South Africa now, I'd probably be pretty worried, to be honest.
Yeah.
But these two will provide a great physical test for us, Wellington and then Auckland.
But you see, I reckon Robertson's gone with experience because he understands it's a big game, right? This is the first game of the, what do you call it?
Rugby Championship.
Rugby Championship, Tri-Nations, whatever. Yeah, so you've got them there. You've got TJ. They've put him back at halfback. So you've got these young bucks who are good, but TJ's got experience.
Yeah, and look, and again, that combination of 9 and 10, absolutely crucial. And so Cortez Ratama's done nothing wrong. In actual fact, I think he's played out of his brain when he's come on. But again, Damien McKenzie's still got a lot to prove. He is green in that position for the All Blacks, and that's what TJ's going to do. So I think it's a really good mix from Razor. And again, I just applaud the selectors for having the cojones to go, okay, you're not playing well, you're gone from this. Doesn't mean you're gone, but you're gone from this.
Yeah, it's nice to see you, Marty.
Nice to see you too, mate.
Really nice to see you. It's great to see Artie back at captain too. So I know Scott Barrett's out, but Artie at home as captain.
Well, he's going to get a raucous reception,
isn't he? Yeah, nice to see you, mate.
Thank you so much.
Excellent stuff. Okay, send us your feedback as well. Martin Devlin is on point. That's what you've told me. Martin Devlin's on point. Are we still top 3 per capita? We are top 3 per capita. Lisa's the GOAT. The flu is nasty, says Cameron. Aroha to the family. Duncan Garner for captain. Thoughts? I'll come back to you on that. The flu is nasty. Is this because of influenza A, you're asking me? It absolutely is. James says, my heart goes to the family. I'm hoping for the best. I think we all are.
3 questions from the editor-in-chief.
Yeah, so number 1 today.
1.
Who's the greatest Olympian? God, it's a tough question. But how can you go past Lisa Carrington now? 6 golds, 1 bronze, and she's going for 7. So if she wins the K1 500, does that cement her? I think it probably does. I've got Peter Snell and Daniel Loader as my 2 other favourites of all time. The way they did it, how they did it, who they were up against. The leg drive, the final push through the water, so hard to compare and judge. But I've called it. Carrington with 6 golds, and possibly another one is hard to go past, isn't she? Although there's Eric Murray and oh God, don't do this to yourself. Eric Murray and Hamish Bond, they were good. At number 2 today, why is no third player in the supermarket business? I'll tell you why. Because Foodstuffs North Island has effectively been, engaging in anti-competitive behaviour to block any player going up against them. So for that, they have been fined. This is massive, although probably for them it's not much. $3.25 million. Good job. Their behaviour denies us the chance to lower prices, so it's a good on the Commerce Commission for showing some kahunas, some backbone, some teeth. The fine was for imposing anti-competitive land covenants to try to block competition in the lower North Island. Their actions were called deliberate and serious and blocked or hindered rivals from opening new stores or expanding existing ones in Wellington's Newtown, Petone and in South Napier's Tamatea. This is the bad bit. You think grocery prices will go up to cover the fine? It probably will.
3.
Number 3, it doesn't get any better for Kiwi Rail, the Aratiri Inter-Islander ferry, which now appears to be attracted to things attached to land, whether it's foreshore or the dock. Yesterday, fresh from its grounding and the sounds, it crashed into the dock as it berthed in Wellington. No one was hurt, but 2 incidents back to back. What's next? Something's not right. It's now becoming a bit of a daily embarrassment and humiliation for the company. And who is going to get injured? That's the problem. Safety is a real issue. Okay, very good morning to you.
Duncan Garner, live.
And let's go with the big dog for the MediaWorks newsroom, Big G. Gary Denvir, what's happened overnight with the Olympics? What's ahead for the weekend? Gary, nice to see you. We'll just whack your mic on there.
Yeah, that
and
helps.
Bang, here we go.
There we go. Huge
Isn't
overnight, the 2 golds and both such dominant performances.
Yeah.
The K4 crew, I stayed up for it last night, which is why I
So
slept in this morning.
Do you know what? I got up. I got up.
actually,
Just got it.
Yeah, I watched it and then I went to sleep and
I was screaming on my own in the house. Screaming!
Yeah.
Go on!
When the Germans pulled them back, because they had their traditional fast start, and the Germans pulled them back by the midway mark, the 250. I thought, oh no,
I know they look powerful, didn't they, the Germans?
They did.
Yeah.
But wow, the way they came back at them again, and they won it. It's 0.4 of a second, but it was really quite convincing.
I know what you're saying, because that last sort of 100 metres, we were in control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The fact that Dame Lisa Carrington said afterwards that she knew they had won. In those events, if it's close, you don't know for sure.
Well, with the men's one,
she could tell straight away that they had won.
That's right, because the men's K4, you couldn't tell.
Exactly.
But the women's one, I mean, I know it's 0.4 of a second, but that's a lifetime, right, in this game?
It is in this game.
Yeah.
And
she's good.
Dame Lisa, that's 6 golds personally for her in her career, plus a bronze. And you wouldn't put it past her to get a couple more yet.
Well, she's got, I think the first was second fastest time in the K1.
Yes, she has. She's up against the other Kiwi in the...
who's beaten her twice.
Yeah, she has. But you'd have to say that Olympics is her gig, isn't it?
Some people get to a stage where they perform better than other stages. I mean, Martin Denvir for the All Blacks compared to the Hurricanes.
Don't rule out Amy Fisher, because she is a phenomenal paddler as well.
So the 1-2.
She's beaten her the last two. But
the
yes,
1-2.
gold, silver has to be on the cards in that event. And then, of course, Dame Lisa is teaming up with Alicia Hoskin, who was in the 4. In the K2 500 as well.
So she
and they look likely to win that as well.
Yeah, they do, don't they? So, I mean, the world hasn't given up trying to beat them.
No.
See, with Eric Murray and Bond, the world gave up, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the world hasn't given up trying to beat these guys. And that's what makes her so remarkable. The competition's there.
Yeah, but they can't do it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, the other dominant athlete, and it's something that we haven't had for a long time, is in cycling, Elise Andrews.
Yes.
She's a machine.
Yeah.
Absolute machine. She looks completely unbeatable. In that Kieran final, as soon as she hit the front, you could see that no one was beating her. She's so strong. Her father, who's coach of the New Zealand team, he stepped in to help out, basically didn't even watch her cross the finish line. He ran as soon as she came around the last half.
She knew she'd won.
Yeah, he knew she wasn't being beaten. She's that good. And the last time we had anybody that good on the track, Sarah Ulmer.
Yes.
Unbeatable. Gold medalist. Yeah.
This says a lot about rowing's high performance. Canoeing's high performance.
Yeah.
And cycling's high performance units. Something's going right.
I've got it right.
Something's going right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Carrington's 35 years of age.
Yeah. Will she make
Could
another
she do
one?
another one? Yeah, I did ask that question.
I wouldn't put it past her.
What do you reckon? 35, so she'd be 39.
Up against 23, 24-year-olds. In fact, I think the youngest in the K4 was 20. So, yeah, double the age.
So, in the K4 men's, I think it was the German, the lead canoeist. He was 39.
Yeah.
So
it's doable.
And they won, and he's 39. They beat the Aussies. So
yeah, look, she could easily be part of the K4 crew.
Yeah.
The single might be a big ask.
So at 13, where are we on that sort of per capita medal? Are we doing all right there?
Oh, per capita we're doing great, but I mean that always flatters the smaller nations, whereas the number of medals flatters the bigger nations.
Yes.
So it's hard to.
But we've done
we'll
okay.
Take it.
Yeah,
I think we're about third or second per capita.
Okay, so we come back.
But even 12th overall, you've got to say that's a bloody good result for a country of our size.
If we always say this, don't we? If we come back with no more medals, let's say, it's still a remarkable game. So the next one's the bonuses.
Yeah, and we've got a couple to come. We've got the two from the canoeing. Elise Andrews has got the sprint to come yet,
yes.
So she's got to be a good shout in there as well.
So we could pick up
and
another
Hamish
3
Kerr
goals
in the high jump. He struggled through qualifying, but he's still the world number 1, so he's got a chance.
Is he? Yeah. So we could pick up 3 or 4 more goals.
Yeah, potentially. Which would be a massive haul for us.
It really would. Remember when we started this off about 10 days ago?
Yeah. Pessimism. Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else, Gary?
Well, the All Blacks bubbling away in the background. They, of course, have got the first game of the Rugby Championship up against Argentina in Wellington on Saturday.
That'll be tough. We've lost to the Argies, or Ian Foster's team did.
We have. And the odds of Argentina winning, if you look at the TAB, are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because they're a better side than that. They're $7. They beat France in their last game.
Is it just? I'll ask those on YouTube and TikTok. Is it disloyal to vote to bet against the All Blacks?
Yeah, I can't do it.
You can't do it?
No, even
if
if
you put a lazy
$10
$10 on it, you'll get $70 back.
And people are smart. They say, yeah, but if I lose the bet, the All Blacks win, I'm still happy.
Yeah, see, that's right. But the Argies are tough, but maybe not in Wellington.
Yeah, well, mind you, we've I think lost 4 in a row in Wellington.
We lost in. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a graveyard, isn't it?
It's a graveyard for the All Blacks.
Okay, well, that's you. You're done, I think. Good on you, Gary. Nice to see you, mate. Thanks so much.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, interesting. Some of your feedback on this too. Do you think that Carrington can make it to the next Olympics? At 35, she'll be 39. I wouldn't count her out. Depends whether there's still the fire in the belly. I think there probably is. If ram braiding was in the Olympics, I think New Zealand would win. If ram braiding was in the Olympics, I think New Zealand would win. Yeah. Although the Aussies have given it a good nudge, I think too. I might put some dollars on Argentina, says Moana. Moana, that's disloyal, isn't it? That's disloyal, isn't it? Yeah, multi. Yeah, the goat's Lisa. Yeah, the goat is Lisa. There's no doubt about that. I'm with you.
It's the Slam Dunk.
Okay, so what I'm about to say and tell you is deeply distressing. And frankly, if this was your mum or your nana, you'd be horrified. But somehow, I hope any coverage of this woman's plight can see the ball rolling on some action. But first, some context. Remember Cyclone Gabriel and how it really hit hard Auckland's west coast beach suburbs? Smashed into the hills. You remember all that? And down came a number of houses in Muriwai. They just right down the bank. The damage was horrific. I've had a look at it. It took time to clean up, right? Remember, there were those 2 volunteer firefighters who lost their lives in a house that collapsed and slid down the bank, yeah? Well, next door to that house lived an 82-year-old woman called Kathleen, whose house is unlivable, and she's been forced to live in a bedroom at her sister's place in Pakalanga, right across town. Meanwhile, her fight to get a payout and move, it drags on. 18 long months, and the powers that be have left her languishing. She's now sick in hospital, and other homeowners have had their payouts. They've moved on. 82-year-old Kathleen is beside herself that she's making such slow progress. At 82, time is limited, and you're waiting 18 months for some progress. Her friends have contacted me, asking me to get involved to help in some way, whatever way I can. I want to read you some of the letter that they've sent me. Duncan, hi. We got to know Kath and her circumstances and have tried to be of some assistance to her in getting this resolved. But the powers involved are dragging their tails and making life really stressful for Kath. We have emails from the Kaipara MP, Chris Pink, who's also trying to get something moving, but Kath was getting no real progress or contact from him. And it's always one-sided in that we must keep chasing them for information. Because of the length of time and the lack of contact with Kath, it has now become ridiculous. It's become ridiculous that they would treat her like this when we have been informed that her estimated repairs are very close to the 25% needed to make it a Category 3, the write-off, right? We are informed that the neighbours have attached a hose to her water source and have broken her water pump. Her car is still on site, damaged, and Kath has no access to the property. We are certain that it would be unsafe for her to return, as she is quite deaf and not as mobile as she was. So if something did happen, she may not even be aware of it until it's too late. Kath rang the council last week to speak to her builder to try and get some actual answers, and was told that he'd call her back. He's meant to be doing the costings, and he was very keen to tell her that it's taken time because he's been away for 2 weeks on holiday. These things happen. And it's now during the week, it's the evening, and nothing's been communicated to her whatsoever. Nothing about the outcome, no decisions that were made. So she's in the dark. We're disgusted that someone of Kath's age can be dismissed and ignored for so long because, well, she's polite and not a noisy wheel. And heck, she might even die if we leave it long enough anyway. That's sort of the impression that we're getting. The real reason, or more of a plea, I would like you or someone to take this on board. I know it's given her days and days of depression and despair and anguish. And she had a fall on Monday. She's in hospital and she needs to have surgery on a broken hip. This is a major operation and takes a lot out of the elderly. So even for her recovery from this, it'll be more stressful for her as she has nowhere to go, nowhere to call home, nowhere to recuperate in peace. If this is how our MPs and council treat the elders of our community, then God help us all. This woman deserves her home to be paid out so she can settle somewhere with her loved cats and enjoy her well-deserved twilight in peace. We're all feeling it, and we're all feeling like we're getting nowhere, but nothing but smoke and mirrors and fob off political speak. Kath needs help. Why is it taking so long for a decision to be made? Your presence, Duncan, might add a certain amount of urgency to this, and this poor woman would not feel that she's been abandoned by her community, that she's been part of her whole life. I've contacted you and one other person in the media, and I hope to get some progress. Kath needs someone on her side. I'm putting this out here because these are never easy cases, right? This is day one for me in this. And I'll do what I can and make some calls, and let's build some fresh pressure. But ask yourself this, folks. At 82 years of age, doesn't Kath deserve some dignity and a decision so she can move on? Of course she does. So let's see what we can do.
Duncan Garner, live.
It is appalling, isn't it? On Monday, we've got the controversial Kiwi coming in, haven't we? He's back. Supermarket pay. Oh, I wonder what's taken on supermarket. Does he like me now? I've gone from the entitled prat or prick or whatever I was to Mr. Nice Guy. That's nice. Yeah, like mine's exactly right. I might do quickly some updates of our Plonker rankings. And while Darling Turner has got a full-time spot in there, I want to put Shane Retty 2 because the health system's a complete debacle and he's a bit of a joke and no one's getting anywhere fast, so we'll put that there. Canada Soccer can come off. They've said sorry. Haven't they? They've apologised, eh? Yep. There we go. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we like it. What about these plonkers? Yep, Kiwi roll. They're going in there. Look at these guys. Eh? Bunch of fairies. There we go. And New Zealand Police. New Zealand Police. Because everyone's doing it for free. Matua Shane can come off. He's taking it up the Jacksie for the mining stuff, so we'll put him there. And we always need the Nobby to be there as well. Nobby and Darlene are sort of our top and bottom, aren't they? Yeah, regulars, yeah. There we go. And if you think we've got this wrong, let us know. Cigaretti, I do like that. Well done. Right, who would you put on him? If we got it wrong, you tell me who we'll put on it. Duncan at rover.nz is my Trump. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Just not with her. Right, that's us. Thanks for tuning in to Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live with Estes Oil, the premium New Zealand-made fish oil supplement backed by a study. Support joint, heart and brain health. Use code Duncan for 10% off. This stuff works, so I started taking it. Estes Oil. You know what? My knee is less sore already after a week. Take as directed. Read the label about health. Auckland. That is us, folks, for the week. This will be available as a podcast very shortly on Rover or wherever you get your podcast. It's all there. Thanks for your feedback and thanks for your support. Some great feedback today. I'm Duncan at rover.nz. To my team, Isaac, bang, good man, Miranda, Forrester and Zarina. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll do it again tomorrow. No, we won't. Monday. With the controversial Kiwi. Life is this is no curtain raiser. There is no dress rehearsal. This is our life. We have a great country. Get out and enjoy it. Take care, folks, and thanks for following us.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.